Now let us discuss 14th case scenario. Mr. Narendra Sharma. Mr. Narendra Sharma, aged 54 years. He is an Indian citizen. He is an Indian citizen carrying on retail business in Dubai. He is carrying on what? Retail business in Dubai. He frequently visits India for business purpose. And details of his visits in India are provided that he came to India on 3/12/2015 and left on 26/4/16. Then he again came back to India on 9/9/18 and then left on 10/1/19. Then he again came back on 27/12/19 and left India on 22/2020. Afterwards, he decided to shift permanently in India. Now he has decided to shift permanently in India, close his business in Dubai. So he came to India on 27/11/2020 and he has joined Cosmos Heritage India Limited at the registered office on 1/12/2020. And for December, he has taken a flat on rent for 60,000 per month from Mr. Sathak, an Indian resident, and Mr. Sathak has provided his PAN to Mr. Narendra Sharma. Details of the salary has been provided, okay? And for the period April to 20, his business income arising from Dubai is 26,000 rupees, and he is not liable to pay tax in Dubai. And such business is controlled from Dubai. And then this information of purchase and sale of shares have been provided. Okay? And then they are asking for that question. So first of all, let us see what his residential status is. Now, he is in India. He came to India on 27/11/2020. He came to India on what? 27/11/2020 for his permanent residence. Okay. So in this particular case, when he came to India on 27/11/2020, for how many days he is there in India? In November. That is 4 days in November. That is 30 minus 26. Then December, 31 days. January, 31. Feb, 28. And March, 31. So the number of days he is in India is 4 plus 31 plus 31 plus 28 plus 31. 125 days during the previous year. How many days in 4 years preceding the previous year? Previous year is 2021. Information about 2019-20, 18-19, 17-18 and 16-17. We have to see about this for how many days he is in India in the 4 years preceding the previous year. Okay, in these 4 years. So in when we come to about 1920, he is in India for December, 4 days, then January, 31 days, and February, 20 days. So it is 31 plus 20, let us write the days here. Then in 1920 we have discussed, 1819. For 1819 he has been in India 30 minus 8, 22 days for September, then October, then November, then December, and then January. Then for a period of 16-17, he is not in India. For a period of 16-17 also he is in India for 26 days. So how many days he is in India in 4 years preceding the previous year? 4 plus 31 plus 20 plus 22 plus 31 plus 30 plus 31 plus 10 plus 26. So around about 205 days only. So he is in India for a period of 60 days or more and 365 days or more, then he would have been a resident. But here from this information he is a non-resident. Now he can be deemed to be what? Resident in India. Why he can be deemed to be resident in India? In case if his, the Indian income exceeds rupees 15 lakhs. So it is from December, January, February and March. If you compute his Indian income, it is 275,675 into 4. So definitely it exceeds what other allowances are there, and therefore it exceeds 15 lakh rupees. So he is what deemed to be resident in India. He is deemed to be resident in India. So let us now start the question. What is the residential status of Mr. Narendra for the previous year? So as per 61A, he is deemed to be resident in India. He is deemed to be resident in India. Now as per 66D, he is what? NOR. A person who is deemed resident as per 61A. Who is deemed resident as per 61A? If he is an Indian citizen and he is not resident as per the provisions of section 6.1. He is not resident as per the provisions of section 6.1, and his income from Indian income, his Indian income basically exceeds rupees 15 lakhs during the previous year, other than the income from foreign sources. And he is not liable to tax in the other country or a territory by reason of his domicile or residence in any other country or territory. Then he is deemed to be resident in India as per 61A. And as per 66D, he is deemed resident but not ordinary resident. So answer will be, he is deemed resident but not ordinarily resident in India. Okay. Now they are asking which of the following statement is correct in respect of dividend paid by Rainbow Limited to Mr. Narendra. Now first of all, let us discuss about the other aspects. So his salary details were there. His business income from Dubai is 26 lakh rupees and he is not liable to tax in Dubai. Such business is controlled from Dubai. So it won't be taxable if he is a resident but not ordinarily resident in India. Then he is active in equity share trading after coming to India. Following are the details. He has purchased the shares of First Smile Limited on 10/12/2020. 250 shares have been purchased. Price per share is 203 and he has paid a brokerage of 1.5%. Then he has purchased the shares of Rainbow Limited and Mega Service Limited, and then he sold shares of sale of First Mile, then purchase Mega, then sale Mega, purchase Rainbow, sold Mega, First Mile and sold Mega. Following details are available. First Mile has also issued a bonus share on 1:1 on 1/2/21 and credited the shares in his account on 10/2/21. Rainbow Limited declared an interim dividend of 200% on 28/2/21. Face value of each share is ₹10 and the record date is 31/1/21. Now he does not opt for the provisions of section 115 BAC. He does not opt for the provisions of section 115 BAC. Now based on the facts of scenario given. Now second question they were asking which of the following statement is correct in respect of dividend paid by Rainbow to Mr. Narendra. Now let us see how much shares he has purchased. Initially he has purchased shares, 50 shares of Rainbow. They have been purchased on 10/12/2020. Okay. Then on 28/12/2020, he has purchased 200 shares. 28/12/2020, 200 shares. Then 3/1/21, 100 shares. 3/1/21, 100 shares. These shares have been purchased by him. What is the record date? Rainbow Limited has declared the dividend on 28th of February 21. Record date is 31/1/21. Now here record date is 31/1/21. Now he has got 350 shares and 20 rupees per share he will be receiving the dividend. So it is 350 into 20. The amount of dividend is 7,000 rupees is the amount of dividend. 7,000 rupees is what? The amount of dividend here. Now they are asking, what question they are asking, let us see. Which of the following statement is correct? Which of the following statement is correct? In respect of what? Dividend paid by Rainbow to Mr. Narendra. Dividend paid by Rainbow to Mr. Narendra. Now first is dividend received from Rainbow is exempt in hands of Narendra. Hence, no tax is required to be deducted at source. This statement is wrong. Now dividend income is taxable in hands of the shareholder. Dividend received from Rainbow Limited is taxable in hands of Narendra. But since the dividend is less than 10,000, no tax is required to be deducted at source. Well, here, in case of an individual, if dividend is paid through account pay check, then or through other than cash, other modes other than cash, then in that case tax is required to be deducted at source when the amount of dividend credited or paid or to such shareholder exceeds rupees 5,000. So this is also not correct. Then dividend received from Rainbow Limited is taxable in hands of Mr. Narendra. Tax of 525 is required to be deducted at source. Now we have received a dividend of how much amount we have seen? 7,000, and rate of TDS has been reduced due to COVID to 7,000 into 7.5%. 7,000 into 7.5%. Otherwise it is 10%. So this answer is C is correct. C is correct. Dividend received from Rainbow Limited is taxable in hands of Mr. Narendra, and tax of 525 is required to be deducted at source. Then what shall be the TDS liability of Mr. Narendra for rent paid to Mr. Sarthak? Now they are asking for TDS liability of Narendra. Now here under section 194 IB, he is required to deduct tax at source under 194 IB because he is a salaried employee, and here how much rent he has paid? They have provided that he has paid a rent. $60,000 per month is the rent from December. So it is 60,000 per month. December, January, February, March. December, January, February, March. For 4 months at rate of 3.75% is required to deduct the tax at source. So it will be 60,000 into 4 into 3.75%. 9,000 rupees. So here Mr. Narendra is liable to deduct tax at source under 194 IB for rupees 9,000, and the same is to be deducted on the last month of the tenancy here, March 21. It is to be deducted in last month of tenancy. Then what would be the income chargeable to tax under the head income from salaries in hands of Mr. Narendra for assessment year 21-22? Now let us see his income which is chargeable to tax under the head salaries. His basic salary is 275,675. Basic salary. It is 275,675 into 4. He is joined from December, no? December, January, February, March. Okay. Two 75675 into 4. That is 11,02,700. Then he is getting cost of living allowance, or we can say it's a DNS allowance. DNS allowance is how much of cost of living allowance is 120,200, forming part of retirement benefit. It is 120,200. 120, 200 into 4. 120, 200 into 4. That is 4,80,800. 4,80,800. Then we have HRA. How much HRA is paying? He is paying rent of 60,000 per month. We will be calculating HRA here itself. Actual HRA is 137,838. This is actual HRA. We can calculate it for 1 month. Rent paid is 60,000 per month minus 10% of salary. Salary is 275, 675 for a month and 120, 200. That is 275, 675 plus 120, 200. That is 395,875. 395,875. So minus 10% of salary, that is 39,587. 50. So in sum 60,000 minus 39,587.50. That works out to be 2412.50. 2412.50. Then it is he is living where? In Mumbai, it's 50% of salary. 50% of 395,875. Lease will be exempt. This will be exempt. So from 137,838, 20,412.50 will be exempt. So from 137,838 minus 2412.50, the same is exempt. So taxable HRA is 1,17,425.50. For 4 months it will be 469,702. So it will be 469,702 taxable HRA. 469,702 taxable portion we have worked out. Rent paid minus 10% of salary, 50% of salary and actual HRA. Then other allowances is 156,000 per month. Other allowances 156,000 per month. So it is 156 into 4. It is 6,24,000. So it is 11,02,700 plus 480,800 plus 469,702 plus 624,000 minus 50,000. That is 26 lakh 77,702 minus 50 is what? Standard deduction. So it is 27,702. 202, sorry. It's not 702, it's 202. 26,27,202. This is the income which is chargeable under the salaries. Let us confirm it. Yes, it is 26,27,202. Now they are saying what is the amount of short-term capital gains which are chargeable to tax in hands of Mr. Narendra on sale of shares for financial year 2021. Short-term capital gains they are asking. What is the amount of short-term capital gains which is chargeable to tax in their hands? So here STCG they are asking. So first of all he has purchased and then sold shares of Smile Limited. So first Smile Limited, here sale consideration is 325 into 100, that is 32,500 less brokerage, $32,500 into 1.8%. It is 585. It is 31915 less cost of action. For 100 shares, we are working cost of action. It is 203 per share into 100. Brokerage will be added into 1.5% plus. That is 20604.50. 20604.50 minus 31915. That is short term capital gain will be 11,310.50 here. Then again sold shares of Mega Service. Sale of Mega Service. How many shares of Mega Services have been sold? 150. 150 shares have been sold. So he has purchased the same on 12/12 and then sold on 26/12. 15/12. He has purchased 150 shares and then he has sold 150 shares. First in, first out approach will be there. So 150 shares have been sold at rate of 100 per share. 15,000. This is sale consideration. Less expenses. Brokerage, that is 1.8%. 270. It is 14,730. Less cost of action. These 150 shares have been purchased at rate of 82 per share. 150 into 82 into 1.5% is the brokerage which has been paid. It is 12484.50. 12484.50 including brokerage. So it is 14730 minus 12484.50. 2245.50. That is a short term capital gain. So we have considered this. Then again, sale of First Smile, 200 shares have been sold at rate of 150. So it's 200 into 150. First Smile, 200 into 150. That is 30,000. Brokerage is into 1.8%. 540 brokerage is reduced. Net consideration is 29,460. How many shares he was having for First Smile? 250 out of which 100 has been sold. We have considered that. Remaining is 150. Okay. Then he sold 200 shares. He has sold 200 shares of First Smile. So he has received what? A bonus. So 150 will be the bonus shares, cost section will be nil. 150 into what is the cost of action of these shares is 203 rupees. 100 he has already sold, so we are considering here 150 only. Okay, into 203 into 1.5%. So it is 150 into 203 into 1.5% plus 30,000 for First Smile. Yeah? First Smile. Now here he has sold. Sale for First Smile is 200 for 150 per share. So it is 30,906. So there is a loss. How much loss it is? Minus 29,460. Loss of 1446.75. It is short term capital loss. Then again after first mile Mega, 110 shares have been purchased of Mega. 150 has already sold of Mega. Now 110 has also been sold for Mega at the same rate. So here also there will be a loss. He has purchased the same. What is the sale consideration? 110 into 110 into 1.8% plus. So sale consideration is what? 110 into 110 into 1.8% minus equals to 11,882.20. Okay. Less cost of acquisition 110 into 110 into 1.5% plus 12,281.50. So 11,882.2 minus 12,281.50. There will be a loss of 399 rupees 0.30 paisa. So when we compute the capital gains, one is 11,310.50 plus 2245.50 minus 1446.75 minus 399.30. The answer is 11,710 rupees. Its answer is 11,710 rupees. Yeah, 709 rupees it is coming. Roundabout it is 11,708. So 14.5 it is 11,708. So this way we have to calculate the capital gains. First in first out principle is there, and cost of action of the bonus shares is taken as what? Nil. So this was a very comprehensive case study which we have discussed here, and it's covering capital gains also, it is covering salary also, it is covering residential status also, and these aspects have been covered in this particular case scenario.